Chapter 7, Lecture 1. Chapter 7 now takes us into the world of early childhood. We have gone past the infant and toddler stage of development and now we enter early childhood. Early childhood is approximately age 3 through age about 6 or 7. In terms of physical growth and change, children grow taller and thinner during early childhood. Around age 3, they start losing that baby roundness, and the legs were used to be comparatively short, and there's a big tummy and the round cheeks. Now, in early childhood, the arms and legs grow longer, children's height increases, they steadily grow about 2 to 3 inches every year. That pot belly, that round tummy tightens up, and cartilage turns to bone faster. Younger children used to have more cartilage compared to bone. So typically in infancy, toddlerhood, if a child would fall down, they may get a less serious fracture called a green stick fracture, where the limb bends but doesn't break. Now, however, they can actually get a real fracture. On the other hand, when cartilage turns to bone, that means the child is stronger and capable of more complex motor movements. So with the growth of height, bone, and muscle, motor skills and stamina increase, and children can play actively much more than before. The respiratory, circulatory, and immune system development also keep children healthier. Children have survived some of the challenges that used to be very threatening to the lives of young children in an earlier era, childhood infections and so on. Children have gone past that stage and they are more robust. The average boy is slightly taller and heavier than the average girl, though of course there are individual variations. Some girls can be taller and heavier than many boys and so on. And there are still the same type of race and ethnic differences that you observe throughout life. On average, African American children are taller and heavier than children of other races and ethnicities. In table 7-1, you will see the average, not the average, the 50th percentile growth statistics for children aged 3 to 6. And age 3 to 6, the 50th percentile height in inches for boys is about 38.7 inches. For girls, it's about 38.6 inches. You can see that the difference is very small. For boys, the weight is 33.8 pounds. For girls, it's 34.2 pounds. Again, a very small difference. By age 6, boys are about in the middle of the distribution. The boys are about an inch taller than girls and about 4 pounds heavier than girls. Sleep patterns change dramatically throughout childhood. Infants and toddlers would sleep most of the time, but by age 5, most US children average about 11 hours of sleep at night, and they've given up daytime naps. At the age of 1 week, children are sleeping about 16 hours out of 24, but by the age of 3 years, it's about 12 hours. By the age of 5, it's about 11 hours. At age 6, it's come down to about 10 3/4 hours, and so on. Bedtime routines vary among different cultures. Among the Zuni Native Americans, there is no regular bedtime as such. Children just sleep when they're sleepy during the day or night. Among the Canadian Hare group, bedtime is after dinner, but naps are not encouraged during the day. Sleep disturbances are also common among children in this phase of life. Night terrors are different from nightmares. Night terrors is just some kind of brain activity that seems to occur when children are sleeping. It's very scary for the caregivers to watch. The child wakens abruptly in a state of agitation. They may scream, they may sit up, they may thrash about, yet the child is not really awake. And the caregiver has to gently quieten them down and make them lie down again. And the next morning the child will remember nothing about it. So this is not a real nightmare. It's called a night terror because this is how the child reacts and behaves, but they're not really terrified of anything. It's just some kind of nervous system activity. Nightmares, on the other hand, are bad dreams, and those are also fairly common. They can be triggered by staying up too late, or watching a scary TV show, or hearing some scary news item, or eating a very heavy, rich meal which may bring about indigestion. Several things can trigger nightmares. So if a child is prone to nightmares, they must have a very soothing and simple sleep routine. Sleepwalking and sleep talking are also fairly common. It's during sleep at night, the brain's motor control area becomes accidentally activated. So when you see a child who is walking or talking in the sleep, don't interrupt them. Just gently lead them back to bed and put them back into bed, and then they'll probably stay there. If there are safety concerns, you might put up a child gate on the top of the stairs or similar, so that the child may not fall down by accident when sleepwalking. Bedwetting or enuresis still happens around about 10 to 15% of 5-year-olds. It's more common in boys than in girls. And if it's a concern, then the child should be checked up by a doctor to make sure that there is no underlying physical issue. The situation may be more common among children who have a developmental disability or other diagnoses. And under no circumstances should the child be shamed, blamed, or scolded for wetting the bed at night. They're not doing this out of carelessness or stubbornness. It's an inconvenience for the caregiver, but there are things you can do to settle the problem. You can ensure that the child goes to the bathroom before going to bed, wake them up a couple of times in the night, and make sure they don't drink liquids after about 6 or 7 p.m. until the morning, and so on. And sometimes you may want to have them checked out if there's any underlying psychological problem that the child may be going through. There's also an interesting and effective little gadget that works for many children, and it's very simple. It consists of a beeper that you clip onto the shoulder of the night clothes if you clip it on the shoulder, sort of near the ear. And then there's a long wire that ends in a pair of like contacts, metal contact, and you clip that onto the underwear. So one side is inside, one side is outside. And as long the fabric of the underwear keeps that circuit, the contacts, separated. But even a drop or two of urine will complete the contact, and the piece on the shoulder will start beeping loudly and waken the child up. And after a few days of this experience, the child's brain gets retrained. So they start recognizing the sensation of a full bladder with the realization that this loud noise is going to come and wake them up, and then they automatically learn to wake up. This is conditioning. So basically, bedwetting happens when the child's brain hasn't fully made that understanding yet that this is the sensation that means you need to get up and go to the bathroom. So to encourage good sleep habits, look at table 7-2. In summary, good sleep habits consist of having a very simple and calming routine before bedtime, no loud TV shows, no very excitable roughhousing play, no TV shows or TV in the room, just very simple and calm and quiet conversations, soft music, bedtime. Recognize that the child may keep asking for one more story or 5 more minutes, but just establish a routine by which you respond once, but then you say, okay, now we're done, and you leave the child to walk away. And if the child keeps getting up during the night, you just reassure them and send them back to sleep. Don't wake up the child if they're having night terrors or sleepwalking. Make sure children get enough sleep. Not getting enough sleep can be a serious problem for the child. Brain development is also occurring at a rapid rate in the early childhood phase. By the age of 6 years, the brain is at 95% of peak volume. So of course, the kind of an amount of brain development that occurs during early childhood is less dramatic than during infancy and toddlerhood, but it is still occurring. By the age of 6, there are 95% of the brain has reached 95% of its peak volume. And the corpus callosum, which is the structure that links the left and right hemispheres of the brain, that is also developed, and it is improves functioning of the overall brain. This development continues through about age 15. So this improves coordination of the body and motor skills, memory, attention, speech, learning, and so on. In early childhood, the most rapid growth occurs in the frontal areas of the brain that support thinking, language, spatial relations, and impulse control and organization of activity.